imagine you're facing the following situation. You're sitting in your office and all of a sudden the telephone rings and it's a CEO of a good client and he says, we have a problem. We have this wonderful product which is selling worldwide. It's, let's say, a mobile phone. It's available in most in most economies worldwide. And there is this nasty patent infringer, and he's selling the infringing products also in a lot of countries, let's say 30 countries worldwide. And we now have to really stop that. How are we going to do that? And you say, oh, that's the call I was waiting for a year. Let's enforce your wonderful patent. And then he says, you know, that we have a slight budget problem here because actually we are investing a lot in R&D this year, so for legal, our budget is pretty constrained. So yeah, actually we have $1 million or so. Can you still do global enforcement with $1 million? Let's say US dollars or euros. You say, okay, let me think about that. So the initial number of 30 countries popping up in your mind needs to go down to, let's say, 3 or 4 jurisdictions which you're going to pick to do the job. And the question is, which jurisdictions? So you're coming up with a short list, and in most cases there will be the US on the short list. There will be China on the short list, there might be UK on the short list, and for sure there is Germany on the short list. So why that? Is there a clicker here? Thank you. So why is Germany almost certainly on that short list? There is something behind which I would like to introduce to you why Germany is such a super popular venue for global patent enforcement campaigns. Always together, coming of course with our friends from the US, friends from China, sometimes also English litigation, but Germany is typically part of the game. So they're basically an underlying system which is very patentee friendly, which makes Germany the jurisdiction which receives about 1,200 cases per year, which is in Europe the highest number. So also when you look at it from the other angle, from the defensive angle, it's also quite an interesting system which you can play also in your favor if you're being attacked. So that this topic I will also touch upon, and then I will give you some insights into recent trends, and you see the last point on my agenda, reform. Yeah, there is some criticism on our system because it's allegedly too patentee friendly, so we may be facing some reform. So let's see why, what the foundations of the system are. First of all, our system is very speedy. You get an injunction which you can enforce in 11 to 13 months. Yeah, so within that time frame, you're basically done. And you can enforce your injunction. It's meaningful, well, because it's a very important economy within the European Union, actually the biggest economy within the European Union, and we have no discrimination of the patent holders whatsoever. Yeah? So our courts look at every patent owner as a right holder. They don't ask, is that an NPE, or give it a label as a patent troll, or is it a technology giant? Everyone is equal before our courts, and that's really playing out in favor of the system. Yeah, it's actually very cost efficient. Yeah, so Germany in our 1.5 million budget will not eat much of the budget. Yeah, so you can run a first instance litigation for a very reasonable budget, which will be probably below 200,000 euros. Yeah, and as I said, there are some patentee-friendly mechanisms built into the system, which we are going to look at now. So, the clicker has died. Maybe there's an alternative clicker. Okay, is it actually the...
Just press it once again.
Yeah, okay, good. Let's look at the patentee-friendly features first. Well, it's all about timing, yeah, because the German procedure is heavily relying on written submissions. So you don't have these long trials with tens of lawyers sitting in a courtroom for a couple of consecutive days, burning thousands or 10,000s of euros. It's rather written procedure based on essentially 4 briefs. Yeah, each party has essentially 2 briefs which they can file, and that's it. Yeah, that's all what we have, and then we have a short oral hearing. Our foreign friends are always scared. How can you resolve a multi-million euro patent case within an hour or so? Yeah, but that's how we operate. The German system is all about one thing, and this is efficiency. The oral hearing, as I mentioned, is pretty short, and it's basically just focused on the really controversial issue. It's not like pleading everything. One of the core mechanisms of the German procedure is to find out the real issues of controversy and then just to discuss these issues, whereas all other issues are actually just left aside. If you dare to raise them before the court will be very bored and eventually interrupt you and say they are not interested in that at all. So the efficiency is based on focusing on the really controversial issues, and these are actually mostly about construction or interpretation of the patent. Then we have a written decision which is very detailed. So what is the selling point about that? You get a decision which you can actually use in order to facilitate licensing, or you can also use it in foreign jurisdictions, and I can tell you that at least in Europe, German decisions are extremely respected. So when a German